Good evening. Welcome to the Vineland Board of Education, October 7th, 2020, 5 o'clock combined meeting. Roll call, please. Mr. Merkley.
Ms. Acosta.
Ms. Acosta's not here this evening. She is under the weather, and she sent her apologies.
Mrs. Codispati.
Present.
Mr. Fiocchi. Here. Mr. Holmes.
Here.
Mr. Sobrana.
Mr. Sobrana had some minor surgery. He's recovering and will not be in attendance as well this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Silva.
Here.
Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Ulrich.
Present.
Mr. English.
It's glad to be back.
We have a
Here.
quorum.
In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following, announcing time and place thereof, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, SNJ Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Merkley, do we have a resolution for executive session this evening?
Yes, we do. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene into executive session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10-4-12. Discussion is about pending or anticipated litigation, personnel matters, contract negotiations in which the public body is or may be a party, and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent that the confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as lawyer.
Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Codispati.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Ulrich.
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes.
Pass.
At this time, we will be heading into executive session. We will return shortly. Thank you. Hey, Bob, are you going to read that in now, or are you going to, when you want to read that? Report, I'll do it. Okay. On his report. On the solicitor.
Number 8.
Perfect.
Number 8, Scott.
You got number 8?
Right now, we're on special presentations.
All right, guys, welcome back. At this time, Dr. Gruccio, special presentations, please.
Okay, first, Dr. Sneathen is going to give us an update on our equity committee and the direction that we will be going. One minute, Dr. Sneathen. We can't hear anything.
Short presentation. That's a bad one.
Is this okay? Okay. So again, good evening, Dr. Gruccio, members of the Board of Ed, and the Vineland School community. I am excited to announce the Vineland Public Schools will be starting an equity committee. Over the past few months, multiple staff members have expressed an interest in researching and learning more about current issues and how they may or may not relate to our students and staff here in Vineland. There are over 50 people from the staff and the community who've expressed an interest in serving on this new district-wide committee. They will be tasked with agreeing on a mission and a vision statement for the group, creating bylaws and agreeing on a meeting schedule, and then the work of gathering data and conducting research will begin. As we work together in the coming months and years as a group and on subcommittees to address areas of concerns, all voices will have a space to be heard, and all students and staff can be assured that this work will make Vineland Public Schools an even better place for teachers to teach and students to learn. So, any questions?
Do we have any questions or comments from the board? Do I see any questions? Anything?
Thank you, Dr. Sneathen. I would like to take a minute also to give an update. We met with all of the county superintendents last week, and I just want to give the board an update as to where we are regarding starting back next week and where we are with the county. Right now, as the health department had hoped, we have gone from a moderate risk to low risk category. So that's a positive, and they're very happy that we decided to hold off until starting in October 13th. They believe that this helped with that, and so now we're in a low risk category. We, however, have had a 57% increase in hospitalization rates over the past week in the southern region of New Jersey. So we will be returning on October 13th. It will be a hybrid situation with a legal attendance day. The students will leave with a lunch. That was also a recommendation of the health department, so they're very pleased that we're doing that. Breakfast students will have, but it will be staggered because as students arrive, they will get off the bus, they will go grab their breakfast, go to the classroom, remove their mask and eat. As the next bus or car riders come, students will be staggering into the room. So breakfast will be staggered and lunch will be sent home with our students. The staff is going to be coming in on October the 8th. They will be reviewing their classrooms and the setup in the classroom to ensure that we're socially distanced. They will be going over with the principals the temperature scanning that we're using, the entrance and exits that are supposed to be used, and the procedures for when we go back. They will be teaching that morning and meeting with their principals in the afternoon. If any of you get an opportunity, the equipment that we purchased for temperature scanning is phenomenal. We've been visiting many schools. The minute you walk through that doorway, your temperature is taken. So you're more than welcome to visit if you have the opportunity, but we're very pleased with the equipment. Our attendance rate has been around 87, 88% right now. We would love for it to be 100%, but considering the situations that's going on and family situations, we are happy with what we have, and we have been sending principals, vice principals, and attendance officers out to the home to visit the students of anybody who has not been on a regular basis and who has not been signing in. Online instruction, in my opinion anyhow, has improved tremendously since last spring when we were suddenly shut down. Our teachers seem much more comfortable with utilizing the platforms of Google Classroom, Google Meet, and Zoom. There has been professional development provided, and I believe they're doing a tremendous job. We see a lot of positives happening, although we're online, and it'll be even better when we get back into the classroom. We've also been holding protocol drills with Mr. Franceschini. Mr. Fry has been with him. We've gone to each of the schools. We practice what will happen as students enter, and then they're given a card with different situations saying, I have a fever, my sister has COVID, a whole variety of scenarios, and practice that again as people enter. Practice what should be happening if that happens, what the protocols are, where the isolation areas are. So those drills have been very helpful and informative, and they're going very well. 40% of our students will be remaining virtual. That's been changing slightly. Daily, we have more people opting to go virtual and than we did originally, but it's still hovering right around 40%. Our self-contained special ed students and our transitional first students will be going all 4 days when we return. And starting November 9th, our preschools will be doing all 4 days, full days, all of the centers and our own preschools. And Wednesdays will be closed for sanitation purposes. They're able to do that only because of their numbers. Maximum 15 in a class, and with many of them virtual, our numbers are very low, so we're able to bring them back for a full day beginning in November. The superintendents have agreed that every 2 to 3 weeks we'll be meeting again to reevaluate our situations, share what is working and not working, and make decisions from that point as to what we can possibly do. Do we remain in the situation we are? Is it possible to move to full days, or whatever that might be? So we will be reevaluating every few weeks. As long as we do have to social distance, however, in Vineland, it's going to be extremely difficult not to do a hybrid. We have 10,630 some students, so when you have to socially distance, it's extremely difficult without dividing your students in half. So for now, for the foreseeable future, it looks as though we will be remaining in a hybrid situation, but if that changes, I will keep the board abreast of that as soon as I find out. There was some discussion from our governor about providing test kits for schools, and we've heard nothing else since it was first said. If I hear anything on that, I will let you know, but if that becomes a possibility, they would be the rapid tests, and they would be available for students and staff. But as of now, it was said, and then nothing else was heard. We were also told that when a vaccine does become available, the vaccine will be for adults only, not for students, not for children. The governor also is allowing Halloween, but health officials are hesitant and believe it's a high risk. So we are encouraging our students in Vineland to do everything possible to use all proper protocols if our children do go out. The police have canceled Trunk or Treat this year, which we usually hold at Catone Stadium. So that will not be taking place. And just as an update as to who's doing what, especially our big districts, Cumberland Regional, Millville, Bridgeton, CC Tech, all of them will be going back on the 13th. They are all going to be hybrid, and they will all be half days except for Millville, who is going to begin with full days. Their numbers are obviously lower than ours, so they're going to attempt to do that. But that is all the information I have as of this past week, and if I get any more, I'd be happy to share it with you.
Dr. Guccio, thank you, because again, we're getting a lot of questions from the public concerning this, and I think the ultimate goal for this was to kind of see where we are. We know where we are up until October 31st. I've been away for a couple months, and like Millville is doing a hybrid full day. What was the reason that the Vineland Public School couldn't do a hybrid full day?
Our numbers are so large that in order to socially distance in each classroom, we had to divide our students in half. Millville is half the size of us, and then when they take out their virtual students, their numbers are small enough that they can do that. We also made the decision based on working very closely with the health department, and they felt half-day would be beneficial, at least as we begin to see how our numbers work out, so that the students could leave with a lunch rather than exposing kids with the numbers that we have during lunch period where they would all be taking off their masks. So we're a little different situation than Millville, and we're going to start this way, and we'll see where we go from there based on what happens.
Just make sure I understand it, because I'm definitely misunderstanding. I thought they were doing hybrid half-day with X amount of kids. I just am asking hybrid X amount of kids, but full day. What's the
Our
difference?
major decision for full day was based on input from the health department that we should try to do it a legal attendance day so students could leave with a lunch. So we eliminated lunch from our schedule, and we are having a day that consists of 4 full hours of instruction, and students will leave with a lunch.
Okay. I think moving forward, as board president, I'm speaking for the majority of the board here because I've heard different cries from board members. We want the kids to be in school as much as possible, as you do. We've had this discussion. We went round and round with it. I just think that the staff members, the parents, revisiting like we're revisiting, is there any discussion saying this is how we're going to be until June, and then that puts all the questions away? I'm under the understanding that the governor is the one that makes the final decision on what we should be doing, and now I understand that he has passed it off to the superintendents, boards, health departments. So of course we're going to see North Jersey's doing one thing and South Jersey's doing another thing, but the majority of the Vineland Board of Education, I'm not really worried about Millville, Bridgeton, and the other group.
Wait, you wanted me to follow Millville and Washington Township?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just...
And Millville's going, I think we could have went to school in September.
I think, all I
But-
can say is that I want to go back too. Our kids want to go back, and we will do that when we're able, but I really feel that it's critical that we follow guidance from the governor and the health department in making our decisions, because we're here for the safety of kids and staff. And all of the districts, except for Millville, are beginning with a half-day schedule. As I said, we're going to meet every few weeks. If our numbers are good in Cumberland County, if things look well, we will be continuing to meet with the county health department, our Vineland Health Department, and if they feel we can move into a full day, that's certainly the next step.
Has there been discussion of that, or is that not even on the table yet?
No, there has been discussion of that, but we're going to do every 3 weeks to see where we are regarding numbers, and, we haven't gotten in the door yet, so we're praying that it's going to go well.
Right.
We could get in the door and after a week have several cases, which I hope does not happen.
Right.
But we don't know. So that's why we've decided as a group of superintendents with the county superintendent and the county health department to meet every few weeks and assess where we are to see what we can expand and what else we can do. But please remember that Vineland is a little bit unique because of how many students we're dealing with.
And the public has the perception that the board can dictate how we go back to school. And I don't want it to become that. And that's kind of what happened when we were tossing the different ideas around like Millville and Washington Township. All the board was trying to do is get our students need to get back in school. We know that. And you've always said safety first, and we agree with that as well. It's just, I feel bad for the staff members and the parents because they really, they're out there in left field without a glove on. And, it's...
We all feel the same way, and we've been communicating regularly with our principals who communicate with their staff. And like I said, we all want to get back. We just want to do it in a safe manner. We did listen to the advice of the health department and started in October. I know there was some discussion about that. It seems as though it was the right thing to do because we're now in a low risk, which is what they expected. And our hope is that once we return October 13th, we will meet in a few weeks. If numbers are good, you know, we will evaluate when we feel we can go back to a full-day schedule.
As far as the virtual learning goes, if a student decides they want to return to school, do they have to wait a full marking period? Is it case by case?
It's going to be a marking period, but we start on the 13th, and I think the marking period is like 3 weeks after that, so it's not a long time if anybody wishes to request to come back. We've actually had more people request to stay virtual. So it just, we try to accommodate every parent every day as best we can, but we had to draw the line somewhere because just yesterday alone, we had 40 requests to switch cohorts, and for transportation, that's a nightmare.
Right.
So we're trying every day to work with parents the best we can, but we're to the point now with bus passes going out that we really had to draw the line and say this is where the kids are so that we can get those bus passes out and be ready for next week.
Has the governor said virtual all year? That's already established, or can he pull the plug on that come January?
Your guess is as good as
Okay.
mine. I honestly don't know what to expect.
So if he, okay, so that's something that's also out there. Okay. The other question I have for you, you said that our special needs students will be going 4 days a week.
Correct.
Were they
They're
full days, self-contained,
Yeah.
full days?
No, they'll be the hybrid,
They'll be the
half day
hybrid
for
as
now,
well.
yes. But in preschool, we're able to do 4 days, full days, excuse me.
'Cause of the
based
numbers.
on how low those numbers are. So we did talk with the providers, and beginning November 9th, that'll be our next step, only because bus passes are out, parents have been notified, letters were sent home, so we agreed on that date to go into full days.
And that's all preschools?
Yes.
They're all
Yeah,
in the
all
same?
the providers,
All the
right.
providers? Will
Right.
we be doing the same?
Same thing.
Same thing
yes.
here? Okay, and transportation, we have that ironed out then?
Right, they're aware of that.
All righty, does anyone else have any questions? I'm sorry, I just was getting caught up. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
If anybody has a question later, I mean, my door's always open, and the phone's there, I will get back to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it out for you. But what I shared tonight is what I know as of today.
No, I totally appreciate it, because I know it's a sensitive subject, because you're getting the same calls we're getting, and we have to make with the decision it's what's best. And we have some classes that have 30-plus kids in them. There's no way, Dr. Now, if we were to have plastic up, can you put the shields up?
Mr. Farnaccio has ordered those shields for any classroom over 12, so that way it's just another added layer of protection. If they have a mask on, you do not have to do that, but we felt for peace of mind with parents and some of the teachers that are concerned that would be an added level of protection. So they have been ordered, and we're going to provide them for classrooms that have over 12 students.
No problem. You really answered the question of me and the board. It's like it's on a 3-week review is
We're
what
gonna
it's on.
continually review, and I'll
we
keep you
apologize to the public, to the staff members, but that's the best that we can do at the current time. So, I didn't want to think it's
No, we're all trying, and we all understand the inconvenience for the teachers who have families, for parents, for our children. We all want to be back to normal, but we want to get there in the safest manner possible.
I thank you for your time for the special
No problem.
presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing none. What do we have, the HIB report? Does anybody have any questions on the HIB report? I just have one quick question. We're doing HIB the same way we normally do. I noticed that there's one on there, but
There's only one on there, and it was, I'm sorry, there's only one on there, and it was due to a virtual situation that was inappropriate, so there was a hit.
all righty then. At this time, do we have a motion for the approval of the minutes from August 5th, 2020, August 26th, 2020, and September 9th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Mr. Merkley.
Mrs. Codismati.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi. Yes. Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Ulrich.
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes to August 5th, abstain from August 26th and September 9th.
Noted.
Thank you. At this time, do we have any committee reports? Mr. Ulrich.
The Policy and Personnel Committee met on September 30th, 2020. Present were Dr. Gruccio, Dr. Sneathan, Dr. Rossi, Mr. English, Mr. Sabrana, Ms. Spinelli, and myself. This was a virtual committee meeting. We discussed during that meeting a policy regarding learning management system procedures for certificated staff. We talked about 2 salary increment withholdings for teachers in our district. That was forwarded to the full board committee in executive session tonight. We discussed staffing during our in-person instruction period with a brief from Dr. Gruccio that we're starting up on October 13th. And we talked about increasing the hourly pay rate for substitute bus drivers to $21 an hour. And it was a pretty short meeting, but that was our discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Ulrich. Do we have any other committee reports this evening? Mr. Holmes.
Yes. Transportation Committee met on Wednesday, September 30th at 4:30 via Zoom. We discussed registration. Roughly, I'll give rough numbers. We registered 800 new students. We reviewed bus driver stats where 116, we have 116 current bus drivers, 17 new bus drivers will start October 13th, 7 substitutes, and they will be holding a Zoom meeting to review PPE. Routing and data and cohorts that Dr. Gruccio discussed in her reopening plan, there's roughly 3,000 students going to school on Monday and Tuesday, roughly 3,000 students going to school on Thursday and Friday. 400 students will go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and there are around 4,000 virtual students. Charter and public and private school for the disabled, we're transporting to 13 different schools utilizing 29 school buses. The bus depot and buses final paving will be the week of October 5th this week, and 28 buses were ordered, and our next meeting is scheduled for November 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Do we have any other committee reports this evening? Dr. Gruccio, I do have just a couple transportation questions, and I don't know if you will have the answers for them, but a couple emails that come my way and a couple customers had asked me. With the current bus pass situation going out, if someone is not to receive a bus pass, what do they do? Are they aware of what to do, or?
I believe so. They can contact the school, they can contact us, and we will contact transportation and get it taken care of. A bus pass is easy to print if they did not get one. We're going to set up the gym so that if a parent didn't get one, they can stop by, we'll print it out. Okay. So we have it pretty well covered if they did not receive one.
And then I had another parent ask me that they live on a main road, which is a busy section, and I know we have made some accommodations in years past for the busy roads, be it Lincoln Avenue, Delsey Drive. Is it case by case? If a parent is having an issue, I
would refer that to Mike if he'd be kind enough to address it, but I believe it's a case-by-case basis, and we'll address it once we're made aware. Is that correct? Okay, yeah, so if there's a particular parent that has a concern, please let them contact us, and we'll work with Mike to straighten it out.
Perfect, because again, there wasn't sidewalks and things like that, and I said, I know there's such a situation, but I know we had something in place.
We have done things in the past to switch the side of the street.
No problem at all. All righty, that completes our committee reports. Do we have any reports by our board solicitor this evening?
Yes, Mr. President. As a result of the discussions in executive session, I think it would be appropriate for the chair to entertain a motion consenting to the settlement recommended by QBE Specialty Insurance Group of the Carfagno and Fuller litigation, with payment to be made entirely by QBE Specialty Insurance Group.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cottasbody.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Ulrich.
Yes, with a comment, this is not costing the district anything as far as any additional funds outside our deductible. Normally, I would vote no on these issues, but a financial decision, I vote yes.
Noted. Mr. English.
I concur with Mr. Ulrich with his comments, and I do vote yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, do we have any public comment on agenda items? Do we have anybody in the waiting area? All right.
Not that I'm aware of. We can have someone go in there and check if you'd like.
Can someone just take a quick peek?
Nick's going to do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Seeing none at this time, motion and resolutions by Dr. Gruccio, our superintendent. Please.
I would like to recommend discussion, personnel items 1.1 through 1.3, retirements, resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, unemployment, transfers, student substitutes, extracurricular activities, and volunteers.
Do I have any questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the Board of Education to withhold salary increment effective September 1st, 2021 for teachers whose names are on file with the Board Secretary.
Any questions or comments?
Discussion regarding an increase in the hourly pay rate of substitute bus drivers from $18 per hour to $21 per hour, which will be effective October 13th, 2020.
Questions or comments?
I recommend approval of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cottasbody.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli. Just to clarify that, you're abstaining on 1.2? Okay. So noted. Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Just a quick comment on 1.3. I just wanted to thank Transportation Committee and the Policy Personnel Committee for getting this pretty much fast-tracked onto this agenda. It was good work by all, and the information was spot on, and I appreciate Dr. Rossi also taking care of it for us. So, yes, I vote yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I would like to recommend discussion of district trips and travel.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the graduation pathway report for the 2019-20 school year.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the uniform memorandum of agreement between education and law enforcement officials as provided and on file with the board, with the Secretary of the Board. memorandum of agreement for 2021, and the contact sheet is attached.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the board waiving the time requirements for review according to Policy 0131, Bylaws and Policies, and adopt the following policy regulation. It is Regulation 2201, Learning Management System Procedures for Certified Staff. Mr. DeSanto, can I just ask a clarifying question on that? I'm saying discussion and approval, but it is a regulation. Do we approve them, or is it just for public knowledge?
We generally do not have to.
Okay.
It's administrative.
Okay.
But the code may have required this one, so in erring on safety.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure.
Dr. Gruccio, it was just a very important, once I read that, I just thought that this is something that should have definitely been read into the record because
Okay, not a problem.
it's very important.
Okay. Discussion regarding the authorizing the board secretary to enter into an affiliation agreement for the 2021 school year for the placement of students for field internships, student teaching, practicum, and observations with the 2021 Stockton University Health Services.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 2.1 through 2.5.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Ulrich,
Yes.
Mr. English.
Just a quick comment on 2.4. I'd like to thank Dr. Sneeden and all who were involved in this with the Policy Personnel Committee. It's very good regulation and clearly states what is expected. I vote yes to everything. Thank you.
Motion's passed.
I would like to recommend discussion of budgetary transfers for the general, school-based, and ECPA budgets for July and August of 2020.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of the board secretary reports for July and August of 2020 and the treasurer reports for July and August of 2020.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the placement of special education students.
Questions or comments?
I'd recommend discussion regarding the acceptance of the coronavirus grant funds in the amount of $1,069,770 according to the guidelines of the State of New Jersey Coronavirus Relief Fund Grant Allocations Assistance Program.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of the Camden County Education Services Commission grant funds district application for the school-based mental health services for a period of 5 years, the amount to be determined pending on the needs of the district.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of a resolution authorizing extensions of a various sub-grant shared services agreement between the County of Cumberland and various local units for CC Thrive programs for the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office, which is the NICS Gangs program.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the comprehensive maintenance plan report for the following period: 1920 actual, 2021 budgeted, and 21 to 22 planned.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the annual maintenance reserve deposit worksheet, Form M-1, indicating the required deposits in the 2021 budget.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion to accept the results of the fiscal year 2018 Every Student Succeeds Act, which is ESSA, Title I audit, and corresponding corrective action plan, July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2018.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of an addendum to the March 30th, 2020 letter agreement with Ford Scott & Associates approved by the board on May 6th of 2020, authorizing further consulting services by Ford Scott & Associates at an additional cost not to exceed $1,500.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the fee schedule for Voorhees Pediatric Facility for use by the Child Study Team as part of the evaluation process when evaluation is required as a student is residing in the facility, but is the financial responsibility of the Vineland Public Schools.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the tuition contract between the City of Vineland Board of Education and Egg Harbor Township Schools for one student in the total amount of $4,560.57 for September 3rd, 2020 to December 2nd, 2020.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the tuition contract between the City of Vineland Board of Education and Hamilton Public Schools for one student in the total amount of $6,560.82 for September 3rd, 2020 to January 16th, 2021.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of the acceptance of the following vehicle donated by Subaru in accordance with the Board's Policy 7230, acquisition and use of donated vehicles. It is a 2013 Forester of the value of $15,110.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 2021 Joint Transportation Agreement between High Point Regional High School and the City of Vineland Board of Education in the amount of $18,437.40.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the following: Cumberland County Regional Cooperative Transportation Initiatives, the 2021 quoted contracts, and 2021 addenda.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 4.1 through 4.16.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cottasbody?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli? Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Those motions pass.
Thank you, Mr. Merkley. Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. At this time, we have no proposed items for review or discussion by board members. So do I have a motion for the approval of bills that occurred during the month of July and August 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cottasbody?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi? Yes. Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Silva? Ms. Spinelli? Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. We have no emergent items with prior approval. So at this time, we give an opportunity to the public to address the board on any item. I don't believe we have anyone in there unless they came in the last 10 minutes. So we will move on to any old or new business. Do we have any? All righty, we don't have any. At this time, we will go to board member remarks. I will start to my left. Is that me?
Nick is down there.
There you go. Mr. Fiocchi.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I'd like to say it's good to see you back, Mr. English. And I'd just like to encourage everyone to vote. Everyone has an opportunity for their voice to be heard this election, and people are receiving their mail-in ballots, so make sure you send those in right away. If you're not voting, don't discourage others from voting, and don't complain either. All right? Everyone be safe, be healthy.
Ms. Spinelli.
I also would like to welcome back President Scott English. I also want to wish everyone in the 2020 election a successful year, along with my fellow board members, Mr. Ulrich and Mr. Holmes. I do feel like we have a good thing going on this board right now, but I do wish everyone the best of luck in the election.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Silva.
I'd like to welcome back Mr. English. I just also would like to wish all the students starting in person and teachers and administrators on Tuesday to be safe. Please That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. All the way to my left, Ms. Cataspati on the island.
I'm out here on the island. I too would like to welcome back Mr. English, but I would also like to thank Mr. Ulrich for taking the gavel when Mr. English was out. I have to thank all of our administrators because I know they're doing a really good job getting to all the schools, Dr. Gruccio, Dr. Sneathen, Mr. Fry, Dr. Rossi, everybody, our transportation, our facilities. I don't think people know what they're really doing to get the schools ready on a normal day, let alone now. So I'd like to thank everybody for all their hard work. To our teachers and students, I wish you best on Tuesday. Be safe, and I just want them to have a good school year. I would like to also wish our candidates luck in the election. We have 3 board members. I too am very happy with the way this board is working, and so I do encourage everyone to go out and vote. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cataspati. Mr. Ulrich.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Scott back, but the unfortunate truth is that even from his hospital bed in Jefferson, he was FaceTiming me. So now I can't say that he was coherent,
Right.
but he was FaceTiming me.
Now my wife knows. Thanks, appreciate it. No dinner for me.
I'm sorry. But welcome back, Scott. But, the good thing is about, Scott, myself, and the rest of the board members is that, we do have a great deal of experience. And I was more than glad to step in while Scott was gone. I will note for the record, and I think we can go back, my meetings were shorter than yours. Dr. Gruccio told me thank you. So I don't know what that meant, like thank you, get better for myself. I'm not really sure. But, on a serious note, we're accepting our students back into 60% of our students, like Mr. Holmes said, 6,000 students are coming back for in-person instruction. I think that the misnomer out in the public was, at least from things that I've heard, was that, oh, the Vineland staff doesn't want to come back to work. And that's simply a fabrication. It's not true. Well over 700 plus of our certified teachers notified Dr. Rossi that they were ready and willing to come back to school. And the people that weren't had to provide some documentation on what was going on. And in comparison to other districts where they couldn't field anybody coming back to schools, I think that was not responsible sharing of information, and that more or less agenda-based, trying to make our teachers in Vineland anyway, because I'm only speaking about Vineland. I've said this before. It's not that I don't care about the rest of the county, but I care about Vineland, and what we do, we should lead our own path. I really don't want to hear a recommendation from a small school district or put that into perspective. We are unique, like Dr. Gruccio said. We are the largest district. We have some challenges with space because we're already tipping the scales at many of our schools with full populations. We as the board, and I say this as the entire board, we know that the hybrid model coming back is not ideal. There's no education professional that will say it's ideal. Our children, they need to be here. Many of them, the reason that they come to, that they're looking forward to coming back is they need that structure. They need that guidance. They need the role models, the mentors that our district provides every day through their interactions. They need that. And, it really, I was talking to somebody and I said, it really saddens my heart that children are really the ones who are really severely hurt during this pandemic. Although they're the least affected, obviously they can infect other people. But for whatever reason, this terrible disease is, largely left our children unharmed. But they need to be here. They need to be here for socialization. They need to be here for learning. I have a young granddaughter, started kindergarten this year, and I've talked to some of our staff members, about her. And she was a child that was delayed in speech. She doesn't go to Vineland Public Schools, so there's no conflict here. I just want to kind of tell you the thought process of a real child going through the moment that needs school so bad. And this past year, before COVID, she blossomed. I mean, everything that Dr. Gruccio and Mr. Fry, and when we discussed her, and I asked about development, and kids that are speech delayed, and they all said, "Don't worry, it's going to come," and it does. But she's the type of child in another Cumberland County school district that needs to be back to school, because she doesn't quite understand at 5 years old why she can't be in school. She doesn't understand that mommy and daddy, one of them has to be home or has to rearrange to have a caretaker come over. And that's on the parents, right? So we have many of those parents that also have to balance the need to work and support their families. So that means you have a lot of parents, it's not uncommon, that are in single-parent households or that are both parents in place, and they both have to work. So when I frame my decisions, I always take into account that there is an impact to our students emotionally, there is an impact to our families emotionally, there is an impact financially, and that people that depend upon our district to educate and deliver this education in a safe manner, those expectations are still there. And when we were in a moderate zone, I think everything has to be held in context. 3/4 of the state was in a moderate zone, and Governor Murphy, the governor, still said that schools could open up. So I stand by with my original decision, as do 8 other board members, that we should have been back in school. That we, as a community, need this. The people that want to opt out had that option to opt out. But eventually, we have the measures in place. We're going to do the best we can. We've talked endlessly, and Mr. Farinaccio and his staff have been great. They put in all kind of protective measures. I don't know that we can do anything else that we're doing to welcome our staff members, but it's very critical that our staff and the student body, they take the recommendations that the school district has enacted in policy and directives to our staff, and that parents understand that, yes, there's a risk, but there's also a risk of mental health issues. There's also a risk of suicide, and that we have to get back to business. The community needs us to get back to business. We are often what binds and holds the community together is our Vineland Public School District. And I say that as being the husband of a career veteran teacher, but I say it as being a board member for 4 terms, and really pouring my heart and soul into it. I don't agree with my colleagues all the time. I don't agree with Dr. Gruccio all the time. But I hope that I've left it that you can call me. It's business. It's never personal. And I know Dr. Gruccio and I have that relationship. And she can tell you we've had some heated calls. And at the end, she'll tell me to calm down. She's going to pray for me. But that's her way. And my way is to be that bull in the china shop, because I believe passionately in what I do. So I know I went a little over, but I think because I saved minutes when Scott wasn't here, I was entitled. So be safe, folks, and welcome back to school on October 13th.
Thank you, Mr. Ulrich. Dr. Gruccio.
I do have to say, when Tom was here, we had a 24-minute board meeting. It's an all-time record. We missed you, and I'm glad you're back, but I just wanted to read that into the record. Anyhow, I just want to, once again, thank everybody in our district, and I mean everybody, our administrators, teachers, maintenance department, transportation department, I could go on and on. It's everybody working together that is getting us through this, and they have put endless hours. They're all trying their very best, and I really do pray that all goes well when we enter those doors on the 13th of October, and that things stay well, and that we can eventually expand, because our kids do need to be back, and our teachers are doing the very best job they can. I watched 4 Zoom lessons of my grandson the other day, and he's in kindergarten, and the teachers were just doing a phenomenal job. So I'm grateful for all everybody has been doing in every department. I look forward to the 13th, and I really hope that everything goes well and will continue to go well. So thank you, and I hope you all have a good night.
Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. I'm going to check my 6:46. My goal was 7 o'clock, so I'm actually ahead of time, and I missed 2 meetings, so if you do the math,
Mr. English, we have you on a timer.
I might need Mr. Mustarell to work some numbers real quick for me. He's got the timer in his hand. With all seriousness, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone that took the time to reach out with a card, a smile, a Facebook message, a little gift here or there. When you're sitting home and trying to learn how to walk again, who thought I would took something for granted as simple as walking? And I have to tell you, the people that reached out really touched my heart in many ways. The cat's out of the bag. I did call Tom from Jefferson after my surgery, and I think I was coherent, but I guess that'll remain to be seen.
Yeah, I think there was some, what they call the happy medicine.
The happy medicine, absolutely. No, realistically, though, one thing about the Vineland Public School District, the school board, and really the city of Vineland, when someone's down, we have a tendency of maybe kicking them. You hear people get kicked around and screamed at and everything, but many people rallied around my situation, and I'm glad that I'm on the men's. I don't want to really talk too much more about that. I have a lot of good stuff on here, so I want to start with a couple people. We have 2 secretaries, Ms. Irvine and Ms. Salerno, that really kept me abreast of a lot of things going on, dropped things off at my house, and that's far beyond their pay grade, but I totally appreciate that. And I wanted to thank them personally. As I was sitting around my house reading anything I could possibly read, something came up, and I took a picture of it, and I said, I didn't hear anybody mention it, nor did I know about it, but it had to do with Miss Salerno, so I just want to take a moment to read it. It came from the Big Brothers and the Big Sisters, which is a great organization here in Cumberland County. And if I can just take a little bit of my time to read it, it goes as follows. These smartphones, the kids know how to work them better than I do. All righty, here it is, I think. Our school-based programs help provide our youth with opportunity to achieve the full potential. Such programs are only successful because of incredible support from our school partners and liaisons in each school district. This year, we want to recognize Rossini Salerno of the Vineland Public School District as Cheerleader of the Year. Rossini is someone who helps us stay connected to the school district and administration at various schools. She always greets us with a smile and offers a helping hand. Congratulations, Rossini. Thank you for all you do. And then it says, sign up to volunteer. So anybody that has some extra time on their hands, it's really a great organization to reach out. And I just wanted to thank and congratulate Rossini, because she's really 24/7. I mean, Dr. Gruccio, you can vouch for her. There's nothing that she doesn't say or do or can't.
I can't
there's no
retire
can't.
unless she comes with me, because I can't function that well without her.
Well, they're saying I need a helper. The doctors tell me I need a helper, so I'm going to see if she's got any plumbing skills to offer, in her spare time. But I just wanted to thank those 2 secretaries, because they did really bring some things that they didn't have to run to my house. Dr. Rossi and Dr. Gruccio, Dr. Sneeden and Mr. Fry, Ms. Godlewski, Mr. Hall, Mr. Mustarell, I have Mr. Mercury over here, I have Mr. Salerno, and I have Mr. Farinaccio. It truly is a team effort, the team of central administration. During this pandemic, you find out who your players are and who your pretenders are. You've heard me talk about that many times, and the job that was done behind closed doors, nobody sees that, the extra effort and the time. I can't thank you enough. I had time to ponder what was actually going on in the Vineland Public School District. People say, oh, it's closed. No. It's never closed. It's never closed. The Vineland Board of Education, I am the president of, but we all as a group just thank you for the extra efforts that went into making the opening of school on October 13th possible. I can't thank each one of you enough. As far as the administration in our schools, the teachers and the support staff, there is nothing easy about what you have gone through, what you continue to go through, and what you will be experiencing come October. I'm more than confident in the job that each one of you will do, and understand that I'm hearing the words impossible, and you know, I understand now. It is going to be kind of impossible to do a lot of the things, but all we're looking for is the team effort, and I talked to enough administrators, talked to enough teachers. I think we are more than capable and ready to put the best product forward come the 13th of October, and I thank each one of you for that. Couple shout outs real quick. Vicki Miller, my 10th or my 11th board member. She's gone through some real big health issues, and I understand that she's on the mends, which means maybe we'll be seeing her sitting in this audience in the next few months or so. I just want to send my best wishes to her, as well as my colleagues, Mr. Sabrana and Ms. Acosta. As we know, October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everyone knows I had a close friend, Sandy G. She passed away years ago, but it's still new in my heart. And when you think about breast cancer, like every cancer, if they can detect it early, they can do something about it. So I encourage both male and female to get that mammogram, get those tests, because if they can catch it, maybe a life can be saved. So during this month, if you have a little bit extra here or there, I ask that you volunteer or give to the organization. And then finally, the election's coming up this November, and there are 5 names on the ballot. Not a big amount as always, but I always applaud anyone that has the courage to put their name on that ballot, because this is truly a thankless job. There is no paycheck. I've often said the paycheck that we receive are the smiles on the kids' faces. It's the end of the year activities. It's the graduation. It's the ceremonies like that are our true paycheck. There are 2 new candidates, Mr. Bryant and Mr. Rivera. I wish both of you best of luck in your first election. Again, I thank you for stepping forward and having the courage to put your name on that ballot. And then we have the 3 incumbents. We have Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Ulrich, and Mr. Holmes. I've had the privilege to work with the 3 of these board members the last 2 years. I've served as their president. Ms. Spinelli chairs our facilities committee. Mr. Ulrich chairs our policy personnel. Mr. Holmes chairs our transportation. All key components. Transportation, if your kids don't have a ride to school, it's all about transportation. If your kids are gone, they need a facility, and we don't operate without policies and personnel in place. Each one of you, your experience, your knowledge, the effort you put in there. A lot of people think, oh, they just gave a 2-minute report. The public needs to know the time and effort that these 3 board members put in to get to that report is really second to none. You specialize in all your different areas, things that I have really minimal knowledge on, and I continue to get educated on the things that you bring to the table. So I wish the 3 of you nothing but success with the election. I look forward to really, you're my friends for life, really. I wish you guys best of luck, and hopefully come November 11th, we are working together once again with the election results. And then finally, I just want to take a moment to thank Mr. Ulrich for taking the gavel, because this little piece of wood, it's a lot heavier than just this little piece of wood. And let's face it, I am a control freak. You know it. There's no denying that. But knowing you were at the helm made me be able to recover in a faster pace. So I thank you for being there for me, being there for the district, and not beating up Dr. Gruccio too bad.
Scott, that's really an iPhone feature when you hit decline.
I got that. And listen, with that being said, again, I just thank everyone for kicking it in high gear behind the scenes, because again, it's more than just a 24-minute meeting or a 4-hour meeting. It's what goes into getting to this point, and I cannot thank everyone enough across the board, A to Z. With that being said, do I have a motion for
So
adjournment
moved.
this evening?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 6:56, guys.